Like any game setting with RPG elements, Legend of the Five Rings allows for a great degree of specialization. This specialization takes the form of the different schools, essentially places where your character can gain certain skills. And if you want to acquire skills that are super special, you can opt for more advanced training techniques known as paths. Of course, what skills you want to acquire kind of depends on your character class. Yet another example of the RPG elements of L5R. There are technically several different classes like monks or artisans, but as a general rule, it kind of all falls into three very broad categories. The Bushi, which is your obvious fighter class, the Shugenja, that are your magician class, and the Courtiers, which is basically your social class. Of course, each clan has its own schools, and each school has its own particular techniques that you can learn. This video will be about the schools and paths of the Hare Clan. Founded as a strictly Bushi clan in the aftermath of Iuchiban's Second Rising, the Hare Clan's mission statement would be simple and direct: the hunting down and elimination of Mahotsukai wherever they could be found. This dedication, combined with the nature of this particular kind of enemy, would instill in the Hare Clan a culture of pragmatism bordering on ruthlessness. A ruthlessness that is perfectly reflected in the clan's only school, the Usagi Bushi. There are three core tenets to the fighting style of the Usagi Bushi: speed in both attack and retreat, strong defense, and the ability to take on multiple opponents at once. Essentially, get in close, hit hard and fast, and if necessary, retreat with lightning speed. If there are multiple enemies standing between you and the target, it makes sense to neutralize them as quickly as possible. The Usagi Bushi combat style emphasizes speed and agility, and emphasizes unarmed combat as much as it does fighting with a blade. The object, after all, is to strike and kill a Mahotsukai as quickly as possible, before he or she can summon a spell. And sometimes that might involve getting too close for a sword to be practical. Thus, the Usagi Bushi are renowned for their remarkable athleticism, employing such speed-enhancing techniques as speed of the hare and swift as lightning, the kick of the hare, in which the Usagi Bushi uses an extra strike with fist or foot against an enemy that they aren't expecting, and Reichin's style, named after the clan's founder and former ronin Usagi Reichin. Having developed his own rough-and-tumble fighting style on the mean streets of Ryoko Owari Toshi, the City of Lies, Reichin preferred to leave his opponents as confused and disoriented as possible with a flurry of swift attacks before going in for the kill. After all, a confused opponent is an easily dispatched opponent. From here we move on to the paths of the Hare Clan, starting with the Usagi Woodsman. Just because the Hare Clan are ruthless warriors, that doesn't mean that they lack spirituality. But where others look to temples, monasteries, and shrines, the Usagi Woodsman is most at home communing with the wilderness, particularly the forest. Their lone technique, One with the Wild, teaches the Usagi Woodsman that he is never so much at home as when he is in the wild. But even this can serve a pragmatic purpose, as it gives the Hare Clan an advantage in tracking and fighting enemies in dense foliage. Speaking of tracking, that brings us to the Hare Truth Seeker, a name that pretty much says it all. These are the specialists in investigating and tracking down Mahotsukai to be eliminated. For the Truth Seeker, pursuing their quarry is not just a duty, it's a sacred cause, and they are utterly zealous in both the pursuance of evil and the punishment of same, sporting such self-explanatory techniques as seeking the truth and punishing the wicked. The last two paths of the Hare Clan, while just as important as the others, originate not with the Usagi family itself, but with the Hare Clan's lone vassal family, the Ujina. Founded in the 12th century, the Ujina family descend from Tokimasa, a ronin who pledged himself to then Hare Clan champion Usagi Ozaki, and helped play a vital role in finding the emperor when he'd gone missing. And the two final paths of the Hare Clan bear that illustrious name, the Ujina Skirmishers and the Ujina Tanto Jutsu Specialists. The skirmishers, which are all trained at the dojo Ujina Toride, exemplify perhaps better than any other the ruthlessness that is the hallmark of the Hare Clan style of fighting. Among their techniques is a knife in the dark, which teaches the skirmisher to employ every possible advantage in destroying their enemies, even resorting to ambush and sneak attacks, arguably the most dishonorable things that a samurai can do. This is facilitated by the technique Use the Shadow, which instructs the skirmisher in the use of camouflage. And finally, the Ujina Tanto Jutsu Specialist. Ujina Tokimasa, the family founder, was particularly expert in the use of a short knife. And given that the entire Hare Clan strategy is to get in as close as possible and kill the enemy as quickly as possible, it's very easy to see why the Hare Clan would adopt his particular methods and techniques. Through such skills as Master of the Quick Blade, the Tanto Jutsu specialists are indeed the acknowledged masters in the usage of this particular weapon, and they employ it, as the Hare Clan employs every other weapon, with ruthless efficiency. Before you scoff at all of this as dishonorable and disreputable, remember that the Hare are a clan pledged to the destruction of Maho Tsukai, men and women who willingly open themselves to taint, embracing the most vile of spells and magics, who spill the blood of innocents in their rituals and will desecrate the honored dead by raising them as zombified servants of their dark will. The warriors of the Hare Clan recognize that such beings are beyond the bounds of courtesy and honor. They are undeserving of any consideration other than a swift blade to the throat, or the heart, or any other vital organ. Maho Tsukai represent the greatest perennial threat to the peace of the Emerald Empire. And as such, as far as the Hare Clan are concerned, even honor must be put aside in such circumstances. All that matters is that these are dangerous, evil men and women, and they must be destroyed without allowing them any time to work their foul magic. And the Hare will never hesitate to destroy them by any means necessary. He used to be called Citizen 625726. He used to call himself Unbroken. When he left his dystopian city behind, he thought he had found paradise. What he found was uglier and darker than anything he could have imagined. This is his story. This is Inferior. Now available in ebook, paperback, and audio form. Links in the description.